Okay, welcome back to Utah Paranormal Activities. Now, I'm watching a thing on the Pentagon investigates UFO sightings, and yeah, just kind of going through it.
This isn't real.
They're talking about the Pentagon's going to release a bunch of new videos on this topic. So they've actually seen a lot of UFOs, and the Pentagon and the U.S. military has a trove of videos that they've taken of unidentified flying objects, which we would call UFOs. So to dig deeper into this, I'm going to go tell you guys about a story. So I hope you're ready for story time. So this is story time with Rick. So, late at night, I like to try to think about these things, and with so much going on with 45 News Utah and Western States Media, these two media companies I'm trying to start, media news outlets. I've kind of put Utah Paranormal Activities and Adventures on the back burner, and I have a good friend that is a part of this, and I really haven't been pushing this lately, and I do apologize for that, because I had some surgery scheduled that was canceled, and anyway, so I just I need to kind of work on this this platform, and there are stories that I have to share. I've been fortunate enough to actually have seen UFOs during the day, and that's kind of the cool thing about this this phenomenon they call unidentified flying objects. They've happened to me numerous times, and a lot of these sightings were during the day. But one big sighting from when I was a kid, what got me into this, not to mention some of the shows back in the day, they were pretty interesting. Talking about UFOs and abductions. That show Fire in the Sky that came out a while ago, that had to do with I think the guy was in Heber. He ended up in Colorado, in Heber, or no, in Mexico or something like that. Well, that had to do with the place that I had an encounter with a UFO during the day, elk hunting above Wallsburg back in the day, way back in 1990, 89, around there, 88, 89. So I actually seen a flying saucer, and it wasn't a UFO, it was a flying saucer, just plain as day. It's a flying saucer. So the first story I'm going to talk about is I was just probably about 10 or 12 or whatever, and me and my cousin were laying on his trampoline in the back of my aunt's house, and we were sleeping out in the tramp. We used to do that a lot as kids. You just jump up on the trampoline and throw your sleeping bags out. We just sit there and look at the stars, the oak brushes behind us and all the crickets, which I can't hear anymore because I've become deaf in my old age. But they were just chirping away, and back in the 80s, there wasn't much as far as lights. I mean, Utah, with all the development we had, it still was pretty rural. Even in Alpine, Utah was great. It was a different place, anyway, so we were laying on the tramp, and we seen this object come up in the night sky. It was went over a place called Granite Mountain, Lone Peak, and it just came up over the top of us, and we're sitting there looking at it, and my cousin Brent's like, "What the heck's that?" And I was like, I don't know. It was just a shining light. It wasn't like a light. It was like just something, just kind of like a dull light. You see it just shining above us. And we're watching it. It's kind of dancing around the sky. It's just doing its thing. And there's the East Mountains over here, and it's kind of just working its way over there, and it'd stop, and it'd go back, and it'd come back the other way. All of a sudden, me and Brent's watching. There's these over Granite Mountain. There's these blinking lights. Just first it was like one blinking coming over. And then it turned into a big triangle of blinking lights, like 10 or 15 in a V. So over the right, this UFO, unidentified flying object, was sitting there kind of dancing around as these things are just blinking at us coming over the top of the mountain. We're just like, what's we were rockers, we thought we were headbanger ball type kids, with long hair having a blast. So anyway, this thing sits there, and the jet, we figured those are jets because they're all blinking lights, And as these things got closer to this thing, it just kind of zipped, and then zipped, and then it went, wow, gone. And it literally left a star trail, just sparkly like gold and silver, all the way across the sky like a big trail, and it was just gone. This thing defied anything as ever. Meteors had nothing up on this thing. It was fast. So all these jets start scattering, and all of a sudden you hear boom, and the sonic boom hit. Me and Brent's like, dude, that was cool. That was awesome, But we were, metalheads and having a blast. That was just, I think we was probably like 12. just at that age when you enjoyed having a blast. And we weren't potheads at that time. But anyway, so that was one of my UFO encounters. Another one was I was actually delivering to the senior center here in Cedar City, and it was very first light. And I'm driving towards the senior center up on the east side of Cedar City, head towards the canyon. I looked right up in the clouds, and I had one of the first, I guess you say, smartphones. It wasn't really that smart, but I was trying to get my phone out because in the cloud there was the same gold, round bottom, round top disc. They are literally as dumb as a round middle, round top, round bottom. They look just like the flying saucers they showed. It's like a ball with a line around it, a plate. And it's sitting there in the morning sun, first light. And I was just like, I stopped my delivery truck and I'm just looking. I'm like, this is peculiar. And the clouds kind of moved. And the dang thing was just sitting there shining in the sunlight. That one out there, like, hey, Bill, it's time to get up. Let's get out of here. We gotta go. But they left themselves completely exposed. It's kind of an interesting thing. So, unfortunately, I either didn't get the video, didn't get a picture of it, or I don't remember getting a picture of it because it disappeared. Gone. And to this day, I still wonder if I actually did get a picture. There's a possibility I did get a picture, but it's on one of those phones that you just didn't go to the cloud and all that stuff. So that was another one. I've had numerous times that I actually seen, something in the sky going, it's down. Oh, there's another one. Oh, I forgot this one. This is pretty, I forget about it. So I'm looking up the sky, clouds. And that video that came out a few years ago where they were in between skyscrapers and there was this little white disc just going back and forth. I seen that and I was like, I remember that happening. I remember it. I do. I've seen something moving in between all the clouds. I mean, we're talking 30, 40,000 feet, jet level, not clear up into space, but not anywhere low. And every time it turns out being, it's either something to do with I don't know if I actually seen an object that was completely defined. It was more like something white moving between the clouds. But anyway, so that was one of the things. But the worst one, I won't tell you till the end. There was one when I was a kid. So we lived in American Fork, and we had 60 acres behind our place. And before I moved down here with my mom, we lived up there. And anyway, I remember I was just a little teeny kid, and I walk out the back door. I had to have been like 2 or 3, and I still remember this day. The weird thing is, I remember this. So I go to the back door, and I open up the screen door, and I look up. And there's this, and I swear it's a same round bottom, same round top, gold disc. Just sitting there, hovering. Don't remember anything else. I just remember seeing it. Well, apparently, everything in the kitchen was destroyed or standing. The tables, the chairs were on top of the table. From the best of my memory. But, I remember opening that door and walking out. And I don't know what happened preceding that. So that part of my memory is either lost to time or, I was so young I didn't remember the rest of it. But I did actually see the flying saucer right above me. I remember that to this day. The sightings in the past, there wasn't people, flying drones, and there wasn't people, driving all over everything or climbing all over everything back in the 80s. It was, technology. Well, there wasn't really technology. We had none of this stuff that we have now. And to see something happening now, it's pretty rare. I did catch a video out west last year, I think it's last spring. Actually seen it. It was trying to move around, do its standard thing, and then it got to where everything kind of disappears like space station and everything else. But yeah, that was another one I got that on video. But the actual round bottom, round top disc, it's just gold. It's just gold. It's a really pretty color gold. This is where proof positive that this is exactly what these things are. So just to get into it, still have my allergies, sorry. And there's dogs always downstairs. I'm allergic to dogs. So the story was, I think it's 1988 or 89. I was 14 years old. I might have been, I think I was 15. We were hunting above Wallsburg. Me and this kid, he was a couple years older than me, took me hunting. And we were hunting elk. And there was a herd of elk across the canyon from us. And I remember looking with the binoculars. They made it spike only. So it used to be open bowl. My first year was open bowl. Second year, it was spike only. They just changed it right then. So here comes a herd of elk, first thing in the morning, coming down the canyon because the pressure was above us. We were just kids, you know, we're hiked way up on this ridge. We're looking over the town of Wallsburg. So I pull up binoculars, I'm looking at these elk, and this kid Jess was with me, and he's looking at these elk. We're trying to pick out a spike. We seen one that had spike antlers, but it had a brow tine. We didn't know in those days you could shoot a brow tine bull. So Jess goes, hey, Rick, we're in the middle of watching these elk, by the way. And the funny thing was there was people down there trying to, like animal rights activists trying to disrupt everything, banging pots and pans. Weirdest thing. I was like, you know, who does this? It's like down in the bottom of the canyon somewhere there was a group of people just causing all kinds of ruckus while we're trying to get these elk. So Jess says, look over to the right. And I'm like, what? We look over and there's this flying saucer sitting there above Wallsburg, the 3 houses that were there. And it's just sitting there in first morning light, just shining. And we were looking at it, just like, what? So I have a 12-power scope, my 7mm Magnum. Now, remember, this is the 80s. 7 mags were not popular. And I went in and got me the biggest, meanest gun I could possibly get. I was like, I want a 7 mag, you know. My grandpa helped me get it, my dad. So I pull up this 12-power scope that I had bought, literally in American Fork. I wanted a high-power scope for that kind of gun. I pull up this 12-power scope, and I'm looking at this thing. And I'm looking right at it, and it is a gold. I think it was multicolored gold. The disc itself was a gold, different gold, and then the top and bottom. And it's just hovering in the morning light, shining. Just plain as day. I'm just watching my scope. So Jess and me just like, what the heck? And it starts moving. And it of course, is coming towards us. So it's going like this. So here, these 2 idiot kids, I had hair down to my belt. My belt. I just long hair. I'm sitting there watching this thing come up, and I'm got my scope on it, and Jess got his scope on it, and this thing's just coming off top of us. We're watching it come over, and we're just like this right at it. And that thing stopped. And I mean, what are we going to do? I mean, I got a 7 mag. Am I going to actually down a flying saucer that's made of some metallic source, some substance that probably couldn't penetrate it with an Abrams tank? And I wasn't scared. I was just in shock, just in complete shock. And it zips, and it goes right over Daniels Canyon. And it left a star trail all the way across. Fastest thing you ever saw. Just defied light, gravity, everything. This thing was insane. And I still, to this day, you know, anybody tells me UFOs don't exist, or, you know, I seen a flashing light, and I'm just like, oh, you guys, you know, I think the problem is in society. We've come to the point where we've gotten so advanced with stuff that people are losing interest in this type of stuff. And that's a bad thing, because what I saw and I've seen can absolutely not be explained other than it was a alien flying saucer on this planet. Just to give you an idea, nobody has that type of technology. You're talking this thing was faster than the speed of light. I mean, it made the speed of light look like there's no way this thing could ever be touched by any kind of military weaponry we could ever possess. It was gone. It was just like the one in Alpine, just gone. Okay, so during that time, just to give you guys a rundown, there was actually a lot of issues going on in and around Alpine and up into Heber and the Uintas and all that. There was a lot of sightings of other stuff, and it kind of coincides, you know. Looking back and being a realist and also having an imagination, I kind of wonder, because there was a lot of Sasquatch sightings, and just to get that into perspective, that I have personally talked to. We're talking bishops of the church, a bishop of the church that told me his story, and these people they didn't look like, you know, I think I'm talking to you about, you know, the UFOs and no, this is, you know, when you tell people about your Sasquatch experience, and you're a kid, and you know, and other people hear about it, then they come talk to you, and they're just, you can see their face has just got droops, just droopy face. They know that what they saw and went through, whether or not it would be proven, was something of traumatic stress and shock that their brain could not comprehend what they had just witnessed. And that's how the Sasquatch and UFOs go. I mean, if you're gonna have something like this happen to you, if your brain can't it can't compute what happened to you, and you can't have reason, the insanity sets in on the entire situation. You either shy away from it and you don't want to talk about it. A lot of people have that defense mechanism, where they say, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want anybody to know about this. It's just gone. It's just erased. Then you have people that sit back and say, okay, well, what caused this? And they come to the conclusion that this, these paranormal activities, which is anything that's not normal, are linked to something. There is something out there that no matter how hard we try, we cannot decipher. Well, got the news right here saying that the Pentagon's going to release their footage on their UFOs, and that what they release now is basically the lowest threat, or the lowest. This is just nothing. This is low grade intelligence, classified. This isn't. They have other videos and photos that they classified of a higher rating, and Trump said he was going to release a bunch of stuff, but it never came out. So the Defense Department is probably trying to keep a lid on this. Now, Fire in the Sky, that was a really scary show. That was something that people have been abducted and that know they've been abducted. That is something really scary. But again, those of us like me that they just had these encounters and have to live with it the rest of their lives, we don't know what the extent was and what the reasoning behind these encounters were. These people, these creatures or beings are so intellectually advanced that they can create ships that we couldn't even consider. I mean, in our wildest dreams, yes, but as far as modern advancements in technology, we have absolutely no ability to even come close to this type of advancement in technology. So that's what this podcast, this show's about. Anything that's unexplainable. I mean, one thing, the UFOs are pretty much unexplainable. You don't know where they come from. We don't know. They could be Antarctica, could be coming from the ocean, it could be coming from outer space. We have no idea. I do know that there's a lot of references in the Bible that it just takes, boom, and you're to the planet Earth. If the heavens to the earth, that's as fast as lightning, or faster. They could be there, to the earth. So that may be a part of it. The heavens technology is so advanced that it literally takes them, basically like beam me down, Scotty, and then, that's here. And then, but it does kind of raise the questions. Why did those UFOs take off? If they could just be beamed out of our solar system, or is there an illusion that they were beamed out of here, and just for sheer, speed that trail was left, maybe of light particles of them, taking off so fast. Maybe it left light particles still shining the actual color of the craft. That's what it looked like. But I do think that is a technology that possibly, could be sci-fi and scientific and actually be developed. But if it is developed, it is something that technology of other places or planets or beings already have. We just the heavens are a mystery to man, and they should always pretty much be a mystery to man. But that's some of my encounters. I can't remember a lot of the others. I know I have more stories, but for some reason, especially late at night, we're looking at, it's 10:43 at night, and when I get to this state, I get really kind of caught up in the news, and I've been going through the news all night, and it just bums me out, guys. I have to do something on Utah Paranormal Activities. Paranormal Activities is so much better, so much fun compared to the news. So if you have a video or you have your story and you want to share it with us, please message us. Get it up there. If you guys want to go out looking for, UFOs, I would suggest being 2 hours away from Cedar City in the west, or possibly northwest. I know I got some messages from other people that had encounters out there same time I did last year. There's some of the eastern Utah, Cedar Mountain, the top Cedar Mountain. They got a lot of people up there now looking at stars. I don't know if they're going to pass by there. I have a story that someone close to me told me about 3 years ago, and it was witnessed by two of my family members. But now that it was during the day, now they have stargazers all over. I mean, if they're advanced enough to know to be able to make a ship move faster than light, I think they're advanced enough to know that where people are actually looking and where these groups of people are, because you're looking up from above in an airplane or helicopter, you can see anything, thermal imagery, you can see people gathered. It's a no-brainer. They're not, they didn't travel 30 bazillion miles to not be able to figure out how to open up a wooden door. These things are going to have technology. They're going to know. They're advanced. They're going to know when a bunch of people are looking through, let's get all these, dark cedar city skies, come check out the stars. Okay. Well, you're not going to see a UFO, because they're not going to accidentally do that. Now, when they do make a mistake, it's because the majority of people just have their heads to the ground. Looking up in the sky anymore, people don't do that. I watch people all day long. They're not looking up in the clouds. I look at the clouds and the skies all the time. And that's just instinct for me. It's just, it's been going on. Anybody's connected to everything, that deals with nature and the world, looks in the skies. And they just don't look at the ground. And I literally do not see anybody looking up in the sky. Not on a daily basis. They're not, unless you got people sometimes at night looking up at the stars. Well, if you're looking up, they could fly over the top of Salt Lake City, and somebody would have to actually be looking out there by accident, to see it happen. Plus the pollution up there, but literally just people have lost interest in the skies and stars, or unless it's focused, and I think they have that ability. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow's Saturday. If you have the time off, go out and do something. Maybe get out and get some videos. I know it's the cameras are expensive, but get your stuff posted up. Get your stories posted up. I'm very tired. You guys are awesome, and I will try to get more videos up for you guys. I do have one I may post from last weekend. We were out camping. I didn't get the flash on video, but maybe I'll just post some of the research, call it research, that I did last weekend. So you guys have a great night. I will talk to you soon.